Hello, welcome to Visual Recreation, the essential video guide to winning FML each and every week. I'm your local movie buff, Drew.
And I'm Joey, your strategy guy, and this week, yet again, we have 3 new movies premiering in the box office with Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Ma, and Rocketman.
Rocketman! But the first movie we're talking about is Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
That's right. Now, if you like giant monsters fighting and seeing how it affects the people in the facility of them, then this movie is for you. Yes, now, in this movie, Godzilla collides with 3 of her most classic villains, with Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. Who will win?
Well, if they want to keep making Godzilla movies, it'll be Godzilla. But this movie stars Vera Farmiga, Ken Watanabe, and Millie Bobby Brown. This was written and directed by Michael Dougherty, who has given us such holiday classics like Trick or Treat and Krampus.
Yes, now Godzilla King of the Monsters premieres in 4,100 plus theaters. It is PG-13, and the long-range forecast at the moment is $54 million, which stayed the same from last week.
That's right. Now, when looking at comps, we looked at Godzilla, which premiered mid-May of 2014, and it premiered to $93 million in 4,000 theaters.
Yes, another comp we took a look at is Rampage, which starred Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it opened April in 2018 to $35 million in 4,100 theaters.
That was the people's movie back then.
Hey.
You can also look at Kong Skull Island, which premiered in March of 2017, and it made around $61 million in 3,800 theaters. I think it could perform around the mark of Kong Skull Island. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to make the 93 million mark that the 2014 Godzilla made. That one had Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson, and we hadn't had a Godzilla movie since the 1998 one that was widely premiered.
Okay.
So everybody was really hyped about that one. I don't know if people are really super hyped about this one to go flock into the theaters like they did in 2014. I think just because it has actual monster fights and it's like, there's 3 of them in this movie, I think that it can make the 60s. So I think it's going to go up higher.
I think the original one that came out in the 90s, it was just Godzilla. There was no monsters in there.
Yeah, there was a lot of earthworms too.
Yeah, a lot of earthworms. Yeah, I don't know. I think this one is going to get lower than projected. I think somewhere in the high 40s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, next we're going to be looking at Ma, which teens start partying with a stranger who goes by Ma. What could go wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. Ma stars Octavia Spencer, Diane Silvers, and Luke Evans. Now, it was directed and written by Tate Taylor, who has given us such movies as The Help, The Girl on the Train, and Winter's Bone. That's
right. Now, this is a Blumehouse Productions film, so they have a good rapport with the audience and film goers in general. This is rated R. It's going to be in 2,750 theaters, and its long-range forecast is 24 million, which is a bump up. It's about 4% higher than it was last week.
Interesting. Taking a look at the comps for this movie, teens being a big part of this movie, the first comp that we looked at is Truth or Dare, which premiered in April of 2018 to $18 million in 3,000 theaters. But that movie was PG-13. This one's not, so...
Yeah, so when looking at R-rated Blumhouse thrillers that feature teens in the forefront, we looked at Unfriended, which premiered in April of 2015, and that got $60 million in 2,700 theaters. However, that one had no real major stars in it, and it was kind of niche with how it was filmed. What's our last comp? And I think this one really kind of hits the nail on the head. Yeah, now the last rated R comp that we have from Blumhouse is a horror thriller featuring teens. It has a big name in the movie, and just people being creepy, or a person being creepy. It's The Boy Next Door, starring J-Lo, and that premiered in January of 2015, and it opened to $15 million in 26 theaters. So, for me, I just don't see it hitting the long-range forecast. I think it's going to hit somewhere in the mid-teens. I think that horror movies do great in FML. I don't think we've had a good horror movie since The Curse of La Llorona. And that one overperformed, and I think this one could do the same. I think this one could do like 25 million. Alright, now the next movie that we're talking about is Rocketman! Rocketman! Yes, now Rocketman is a musical fantasy biopic of Elton John, chronicalizing his life before and during
his stardom.
That's right. Rocketman stars Taron Egerton, Jamie Bell, and Bryce Dallas Howard. This was directed by Dexter Fletcher, who has done Eddie the Eagle, which also stars Taron Egerton, so there's some rapport there.
Okay. Now, this movie is rated R. It's going to premiere in 3,500 theaters. Now, the long-range forecast currently is at $39 million. That is a minus 3% from last week. Yep. But it has an 88% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, so it has that going for it. Now, let's take a look at some of the comps. The obvious comp, of course, would be Bohemian Rhapsody, which opened November of last year. It premiered to $51 million in 4,000 theaters.
No.
However, it was in award contention, and it was PG-13.
That's right. So now looking at other musicals that have classic rock soundtracks, we looked at Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, which came out in July of 2018. That one opened to $35 million in 3,300 theaters, but that was not a biopic. And a ton of musicals, when you're looking at them, they're all rated PG or PG-13, so their numbers are a little bit skewed as comps, so it's really tough to find a comp that's spot on. But we have one more comp. What was that one?
Yeah, now the next one is rated R, based on music, sort of a biopic. It's called A Star Is Born. It opened October of last year to $43 million in 3,700 theaters. There was award talk around this movie. There was tons. The star power in this movie was much bigger.
Through the roof.
All based off fiction rather than someone's actual life. And Fandango had an advanced screening of this movie like 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, even though the screening was limited, it might hinder the opening numbers to this movie, I think.
Yeah, I went and saw the advanced screening. I love this movie. However, with it being so niche with the rated R, so I can see this movie doing around low 30s, mid 30s.
I don't know. I'm going to say it's staying around the same for me. That $39 million is pretty good right now.
That's it for us this week. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, comment, and if you want to watch more of our videos, click right over here. But that's it from us. Good luck this weekend, and remember, sometimes you gotta risk it to get that biscuit.